Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari, and this morning I'm alongside my guests, Mukhtar Mohammed, stockbroker and financial analyst, our friend. It has been a few days. Very nice to see you again.
Thank you, Uncle Yori. So nice to see you too.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much for coming in, sir. And, well, in fact, both of them are regulars. And we now have Libros Oshoma, lawyer and social commentator. And also, it needs to be said, television presenter. Yes, let's add that one. Even though you come on programs as a guest from time to time, you also, have your own presentations like you do too. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on. We have to get we have to get used to yet another acronym. It's a very, very important one. NPRGS. It's only a few hours old in our subconscious, so we'll come to understand National Poverty Reduction with Growth Strategy. National Poverty Reduction with Growth Strategy. That's the latest initiative from the federal government, and it was announced following the FEDCO meeting yesterday. We'll talk about that because it seems to me that this must have been in the works for a while, but it's been said that, look, until we begin to address the fundamental problems of our lives, our economy, and quite frankly, the way it affects every citizen, most especially the most popular side of the section of the triangle, if you want, that is the broad base, things like employment, things like dire poverty reduction and all those kind of things. It would seem to me that the authorities are actually yet again taking a look at this. But before we launch into it, let's have a package that we put together to give us some sort of a background.
The federal government is trying hard to reverse Nigeria's new reputation as the poverty capital of the world, with over 29% of its population unemployed. COVID-19 pandemic has further worsened living conditions, and this National Poverty Reduction with Growth Strategy is expected to bring an improvement in the fortunes of all citizens. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who heads the PEAC, is to chair a steering committee to provide overall guidance for its implementation. Council also approved the implementation of the strategy and its incorporation into the medium-term National Development Plan 2021 to 2025 and Agenda 2050.
The Council noted the worsening poverty situation in the country and the efforts of the federal government to redress that situation. It's not as if government is not aware that there's poverty in the land, but things are being done. And one of it is this National Poverty Reduction with Growth Strategy that was presented today.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice is to prepare a bill for submission to the National Assembly to ensure the implementation of the strategy.
There would be a Nigeria Investment and Growth Fund, NIF fund, that will be set up to support the National Poverty Reduction with Growth Strategy.
Council also approved a memo from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs seeking an augmentation of a contract for procurement of poultry for Borno and Plateau states, Lot C5, in the sum of 60.2 million naira. This revises the initial contract sum from 1.238 billion naira to 1.298 billion naira, representing a 4.87% increase in the original contract sum. Tai Amudu, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, indeed, thanks to Tai Amodu. So there we have it, NPRGS, National Poverty Reduction with Growth Strategy. And we were grappling with ERGP, the Economic Recovery Growth Plan. But that one doesn't include poverty as an issue.
It has growth.
It has growth. And I would have said that, look, if it's just national poverty reduction, but then they're careful to add with growth
Okay, Yori.
strategy.
We are just playing with English. National Poverty Eradication Program. Do you know there was something like that?
The Poverty Eradication Program, yeah.
There was something like that was being run by this present government.
Poverty alleviation.
Alleviation
program, yes.
Now we then came up with Economic Recovery Growth Plan. Remember that? Even include when people like Bill Gates came, we got them involved in it, and he criticized the document that he didn't have chance for, human development of our people.
Yeah.
And I remember then it caused a lot of issues within the government cycle, with him saying that he doesn't have to dictate to them what they want to do. Now, this is my challenge, Okunyori. We don't have problem with coming up with strategies. Like I said, this is just playing with English. Economic Recovery Group Program, Poverty Alleviation Program, all of this, it's all about playing with numbers. Or playing with English. So, what we're supposed to be looking at is we are coming up with programs. That's what every government, not only this government, we are not coming up with systems that can be innovative with time. So you create a program. Once you are no more there, that program does not serve because it's not in the system.
Well, to be fair, this part of what we're told about this is that the Attorney General or the Minister of Justice, they have to come up with a law so that it will be sustainable.
So that it can become a system. Now,
yes.
Let me tell you, that is not the way they are saying it now. It's like they just came up with that idea overnight. Now, that's what we do. You
Really?
see, in budget.
Okay.
Now, I'm saying that's the Nigerian factor. Instead of doing your homework, finish all this documentation, pass it through the National Assembly for approval first, before you begin to come up with a program, debate, get people involved, come out with a realistic program that is fashionable and is workable. You come up with this program, then you try to put people under pressure to accept your program. Now, that's the same thing we do in budgetary. You want to construct a road, you have not even gotten the contractor to come up with a construction plan on how to do the road, or you want to do a housing estate, the architects are not come up with the drawings for the estate, you approve the project. And then you now in turn award the project. Then that is after the award of the project, you now say you need the drawings for the Federal Executive Council to approve. No, you need to come up with a program, get the people involved in the program, then take it to the National Assembly, have an approval, then you bring it to the. So it's like we always like doing that. And now you're going to put the executive and the National Assembly at loggerhead, because by the time the National Assembly goes in there, they say, no, we're not involved in it from the beginning. We want to tease this towards our local government. Our local government has to have 100. How many local government do we have? You remember the 740-something local government issue with the Minister for State for Labor. We've not heard anything about it. All we heard that money has beginning to be getting to the people that are. So those are the challenges. We are not devoid of programs, but we need to sit down. Let's show that people will look at us seriously, like serious people. Like I said, who is supposed to address on such a critical program like this? Is it the Minister of Finance or the Minister for Information or the special advisor to the President?
Okay, Libros, how do you see? Because I wonder if Mukhtar isn't being a bit strict. I was wondering if maybe you could cut the authorities, as it were, a bit of slack. This couldn't have come up overnight. This must have been given thought. A lot of the points that Mukhtar makes, I would be quite shocked, frankly, if they hadn't also thought about these things, and knowing that people like you, the Nigerian public, they are going to comment, they're going to criticize, say, is it now? And so give me your thoughts about this, especially as there are efforts to make sure that this thing will be sustainable. It's not a matter about after the Buhari administration, as he was saying, and as has happened in the past, that's the end of that.
Yeah, recently, recently the Lagos state government passed a law domiciled similar to the EFCC Act, that I think it's in line also with the Federal High Court judgment in Ekiti, that the federal government cannot, the EFCC cannot by fiat, ask banks to give them statements of accounts belonging to state government, because we operate a federal system of government. So one would have expected that when you want to eradicate or alleviate or reduce, whatever name you want to call it, poverty, you would have not just what we are doing now. We are celebrating. There's no framework yet. There's no framework. We are just celebrating the idea, because the government had said they are going to come up. The Attorney General will come up with a framework that will be sent to the National Assembly. That will be the legal framework, and then the Vice President will supervise it, but it will be domiciled in the Federal Ministry of Finance, because the funds will come from there. But poverty is local. Poverty is local. It is not at the federal level. So I had expected that you would start from the local government and, have a plan that it's already working in place, and then carry the state governments along, and then you now say, yes, we have worked out what you call, I'm looking for the word now, like a blueprint or a program that is already workable. And then so now what we need to do is to, ensure that it is spread across, the federation. That's one way you can sustain reduction in poverty. But what we are doing now is we just come, we have an idea. We're celebrating the idea, and we say, yes, there's an idea that is coming because we know that we need to reduce poverty. And then in reducing poverty, it's fantastic to celebrate ideas, but not the way we are going about it. We need to reduce poverty, and then we'll bring up a framework. And quickly, I also tell you, we'll talk about agriculture in this country. We've talked about agriculture a lot, but Lagos State government also recently just came up and celebrated, I think, a farm agric program. What is the federal government's program in terms of agriculture with the local government? I heard that they bought poultry in Bauchi or where now? Borno. What's the business of federal government buying poultries when the local government can actually, in collaboration with private sector, operate that same poultry? So this is, for me, it's like putting the cart before the horse. Yes, it is good to have blueprint programs, but let's have it running, especially this critical time when we have challenges of unemployment and insecurity, because they go pari passu. When you have it running, and then you can now begin to celebrate it because you have pilot, what I was looking for, a pilot program, and then you say, yes, we've had success with this, and so now we want to take it, to the national level. But as it is, we have not even tried it. It's just a recommendation by National Economic Advisory Council, and then we're already celebrating.
We're talking about the launch of it. Mukhtar, poverty reduction, but with growth, not just poverty reduction, with growth. That sounds good. But as Libros was saying, there's still a lot about this that we don't know about the mechanism, the modus operandi.
I think we don't know yet. Like any normal government, as I say, government in Nigeria doesn't change because you still have the same PAMSEC that was there 4 years ago, 5 years ago, with the same director. So we have not changed, so we still do things. So what will happen is that they will come up with those ideas later. We're going to see the blueprint, how it's going to work. But like Liberal said, this is it. In tackling poverty, in countries that have been able to tackle poverty, we give countries like Bangladesh that were able to reduce their poverty level. It's a bottom-up approach, not a up-down approach. That's why he's talking about the local governments. It's supposed to come from the bottom. If it comes from the bottom to the up, then you get the results. But it comes from the up down. You are not. What is happening is that the government think this is what the people want, and they do it, not what the people really want. So that's why we always have need. That's why the need of the people. So they come with the wants. Yes, exactly. Maybe they come with the want. Why the people are in need? Basic. That's what will drive the economy. So when you're talking about growth, that is not from bottom up, it's not sustainable. That is why you have the crude oil growth. Once our crude oil goes up, our growth goes up. But our poverty level keeps getting high. Our unemployment level keeps getting high because it's not from the bottom-up approach. So they need to begin to look at the bottom-up approach. And the bottom-up approach, like he said, It's the same thing that's happening. We're talking about CBN. How should CBN be directly involved in funding of rice? How should CBN be the one direct involvement? We are seeing it now. Government, federal government. Now, was that money allocated to buy poultry in Maiduguri, in Borno State, and in Plateau State, and in Kaduna State? And you're talking about Borno State. We are governed with insecurity.
In fact, I think that's the linchpin right there. Insecurity in the land. I think that is going to be one of the most important considerations they had in coming up with this set of acronyms again, NPRGS, National Poverty Reduction with Growth Strategy. Because commentators have said that a part of the problem of having insecurity and it's going back to poverty, it's going back to the youth not having anything to do, and so they're quite frankly available to people who are shopping.
Quickly, it's a big kettle of fish. You see, last time I was on this program, I did say something. Look at every governor's convoy. You look at the retinue of cars, none of them is produced here. And then you say the same people, the youths, the ordinary man sees these things. They see you, they know you, who had nothing before, and then you became SA to governor, and all of a sudden you drive expensive cars. Why do you think they would want to work? So we need to also look at it from the cost of governance. You need to reduce cost of governance, plow back the funds into the critical sectors at the local level, starting from the local level. Once you do that, small and cottage industries, take China, for example, India. When GSM betted in India, they know that the companies, the big companies were coming to them because of the numbers. And so what did they do? They said, well, you can only import 20%. The remaining 80% you must produce here. And so when you, in producing, they also need to provide security for the companies that are going to come in. And so when you produce 80%, you're going to transfer technology. People are going to be employed, and people are going to create cottage industries. The multiplying effect will be massive.
So and that's one example.
That's one example
of how it could go. So forgive me for interrupting you, because Kesandu called in some time ago and has been holding on. Good morning, Mr. Kesandu.
Uncle Yuri, greet you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
You see, this thing sounds interesting, but it's not impressive. Let me tell you, at this material time of the state of the nation, we do not want the government to come and tell us plans. Due respect to the lawyers, sir, we are not going to celebrate any plan. This is what we have on the ground, sir. See, we are no longer people-minded. These people are taking us for granted so much. All we want are things, give us results. Nigerians are suffering too much. The poverty rate is so hard. In fact, the insecurity to a very large extent, though there is no justification, is also caused by this whole thing. People are poor. People do not have what to eat. People do not have what to do. So we take exception to government coming on a round table on daily basis, come and speak English and tell us plans. No, sir. We want feasible thing on the ground. We want them to hit the ground rolling. Nigerians are not asking for too much. The poverty rate of this country is making some of us sick. We want Mr. President to act presidential. He should hit the ground running.
Okay, Kesandu. Okay, thank you very much for calling in. But I hear what you're saying. We want action and all of that, but it must be planned. You must be able to see the roadmap. Maybe that is something that you also have to be you have to consider, that they have to inform on what their intention and the actual
quickly sorry, so that I round up my thought and need the floor for Mukhtar.
Okay.
A man who is hungry, who is very hungry, does not go to a restaurant where they serve food, when they serve food fresh. You go to Mama Put where the food is ready. You're seeing it because you're hungry. As it is now, Nigerians are very hungry in terms of lack of food, in terms of insecurity.
Yeah,
so what Nigerians
you can't just start
want to see,
out.
Yes, I agree. What they want to see, these are your plans. These your plans will be better celebrated when you're at taxing stage and taking off. But as it is now, there's no drawing even. That's why they are saying they will come up, they will come up with a framework.
Yeah.
But we know that this is how we want it to, but let's come up with a law so that it will be sustainable.
But at least they seem to be...
And you ask one question, what happened to the economic recovery and growth plan? What happened to the poverty alleviation program, which is similar to this?
The same.
It is.
The same thing. Because when you eradicate poverty, it leads to sustainable growth.
Okay, Yakub has also been waiting on the line. Good morning, Mr. Yakub.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling.
And then Mr. Mukhtar, good morning. And then my boss, good morning, sir.
Mr. Libros Oshoma.
Yeah, morning.
Oshoma, yes. Sibiyori, I think the Nigerian government should stop to play with English, as Mukhtar said earlier. Because poverty eradication and this particular program they bring it on now, they are looking alike. See, Nigerian government should just leave this one alone. They should just pack it aside. What Nigerian citizens need now is protection. And then what Nigerian citizens need now is to fight all these menace, call Boko Haram, call anything, bandit and all that. Because if you bring this kind of a program, Chibiyori, and then you fail to secure your state, you fail to secure your nation, how are you going to go about it?
Yeah, but Mr. Yakub, security, we are told by the experts, is a multi-pronged approach. It's not just one or two things. And so...
Chief Jody, yes, we agree with you. But a situation whereby you give money to the people, that you assist them. Okay, let's even take this one as an example. The market money. That is a typical example here, the market money. Somebody that you give
trader money.
To do a business.
Trader
money, yes, thank you very much. Trader money. You giving a trader money to someone to make sure that he or she go out every day and do the business. And then you see to buy and selling, buying tomato, buying and that. And then somebody that needs to support to supply him tomato and yam. It is far away in Borno State, and then he cannot go to the farm. How is he going to use that money that you're giving to him? So basically, the Nigerian government should call for external force. We need external force to defeat these people so that we can sleep. Somebody like me talking like this, I supported this. In fact, sometimes if I go hard now to defend this government now, I find it difficult. But
okay, Mr. Yakub, thank you very much for calling in. We really appreciate your call. Thank you very much for calling in. In recent time, people who have been die-hard fans of this administration and indeed of the ruling party have begun to show their frustration in recent times.
Well, I'm not a prophet of doom, but I think I'm one of those people that I've never thought it's going to be a smooth ride for this administration when they were coming because of the kind of promises. People are getting frustrated because of the kind of promises they promised them. 700 and something job within this time, 5 Nigerian youth unemployment, you will be paid money.
It is like this program without a plan.
We knew that these were not workable documents. We in the economy, because at the time they came in, the economy was already suffering.
But when you say we in the economic sector, and you also know that there are other respected members
of economic sector that were with them.
That are with them.
Uncle, let's not go there.
But why?
Because when we go there, experts. You use experts that you want. Expert that will support your idea without telling you the truth. Let me use that word. Because what we see, look, you are driving a program like this. Let's look at this program.
Without vigorously interrogating those ideas.
Putting the private sector. In any economy that have survived the risk, any economy that survived, drive with the private sector. They are not part of this document. They are not part of it. Look, I was
talking about document yet.
Okay. I'm talking about India. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Bangladesh. Mm-hmm. Where did we get all this microfinance bank from? It came from Bangladesh. When somebody came up and said, look, I watched that woman that is selling pure water. She doesn't have more money. So we create a bank whereby she can go and collect money. After she sells, she bring back what she give us what we gave him for that day. And then she has a profit to feed her family. Then the next day she comes again, get money, buy product, sell, bring it.
So that was the idea.
That was the idea.
For Bangladesh. And we've appropriated it.
Good. And have we appropriated it? How many microfinance banks do you have that survive?
We don't have enough. Okay. Mr. Basir in Mowe, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
This is Nasiru calling from Mowe.
Oh, Nasiru, I'm so sorry. Good morning, Nasiru. Please go ahead.
Okuyori Yakub is very, very right. The idea of poverty alleviation, security comes first. Security comes first. We are not secure in this country. We are not just secure. We voted for this government.
But Nasir, what I said to Yakub, I can also say to you, combating insecurity is a multifaceted approach that will work.
Yeah.
It's not just, you've got to do so many different things. So this is one more thing that is coming out. It might be in the planning stage, but...
the program is good. The program is good. But what I'm saying is, let the government, this current government, intensify effort on security. It is important. It is the first thing first. Please.
Okay.
We need to be secured.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Again, that's one of
No. I agree with what Liberal said, and I said the same thing that you said. It's like when you say security, you have the carrot and stick approach. Mm-hmm. So you have the security thing is there taking care of that with the military and trying to make sure they curb this insecurity in the land. But yet you don't have to wait till insecurity in the land is cured before you begin to say you want to have economic growth.
Yes.
And so it's like you say, it's a multi-phase approach. Now, most of the people that are doing bandit, the people that are bandit and the people that are kidnappers, they are people that if you look at them, people will say most of them have no job, most of them are graduates, most of them are people that have been looking for job for years. And like Liberal said at the beginning, most of them have seen people that were nobody, that became bandit, that became warlord. Today they have convoy, they have policemen guiding them up and down, and they say, look, if this is the way to go.
Well, I don't know about that, though. About most of those people, the kind of people you're describing.
Okuyori, let me tell you.
The only people that have these retinues are governors and
let me
ministers.
remind you.
So
Senator Aliyu in this country, on the floor of the Senate, did say that unfortunately he's seated in the chambers with some people he had investigated at some point for fraud, for 419. He was shouted down. They asked him to recant that statement. But we all know how some people who we know before now, had questionable source of wealth. Today are governors, some senators, some House of Assembly members.
Do you get the passage of the AMCOM bill that was passed in the Assembly? Do you know why some people were against it? Because they were saying that this bill now authorized them not only taking your collateral that you have given to them, including any other collateral that has your name. And they know that is like coming for them. They said, no, it cannot have them. They said, continue.
So quickly, you find out that, I agree, while you are fighting insecurity, you also need to create a program that will engage the people that you are rehabilitating.
Exactly.
Because
you agree with that much?
No, I agree.
Okay,
Akio Briggs once said, I don't know if you have a caller. So.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. And it is Mr. Aribatishe in the UK. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
The other thing I need just to comment about our situation in Nigeria is that we continue to debate the same topic on daily basis without any result. Why don't we adjust? Because the last people were forced from years ago, the same situation that we are faced with happened that time. We that witnessed that war, majority of the leaders now, some of them they don't remember history. I remember vividly when that very war that time continued unabated without them. That is stage. If a politician is not a military man, suggested that when war is not first way we are fighting, they are making merchandise of this very thing. The economy, everything the Fed wants to do, but you will not see the end of it. Why don't you block the entry point where these people are bringing in arms and ammunition that the whole country crumbles? My suggestion is this simple, Yori. You said you want to call an expert, you want to call those from the Western world here. So mind you, the two tribes
They are laughing.
if you call America, definitely Russia would be supporting the opponent there. Even if you call the British and America, if they come to Nigeria, what they will do is they are going to the entry point where most of all these arms and ammunition coming in. Go and fight the war there. Get hold of your boundary. Close the boundary. It happens during Biafra time. We close the boundary within 2-3 months. Biafra came from the forest. They had over. That's what you are going to do, not a fighting. We continue to say it day in, day out.
Closing boundaries.
Please, Yori, I believe it's not in authority at Abuja. If we listen attentively this morning to my suggestion.
Indeed. Thank you very much for calling in. Really appreciate your call, Mr. Aribatishe. Appreciate your call. Now, all of this is good.
Sorry, I was saying... sorry, I was saying that...
Because I wanted to go to the cost of all of this.
Yes.
Resources. This is going to cost something.
That's the area I was discussing when I said
Okay.
that as you are rehabilitating, you need to consistently engage. And I like the angle that Mr. Aribatishe also brought in. When he talked about the Biafran war, it wasn't blockade of arms. It was food as the economy of the war. Here now, Mukhtar talked about the Northeast, where you have agriculture. A lot of the farmers, Uncle Yori, I'm telling you, by December, a bag of rice will be 50,000 naira if care is not taken. A lot of the farmers are out of the farm now. They're in IDP camps, even in Benue, and they are still being attacked in IDP camps. So you need to look at the economy and how do I engage this pool that bandits and militancy and Boko Haram are drawn for. Yes. Ankyo Briggs once said that there are people who have the capacity to carry
Ankyo
arms.
Briggs, Niger Delta activist.
Yes. There are people who have the capacity to carry arms but are not yet carrying arms. If you allow them with this your amnesty program, you're telling them that carrying arms pays. You need to engage them economically so that it will not be interesting to them to go bear arms against the state.
Exactly. So that is the ultimate. And let me bring it to Mukhtar. That is the ultimate. The very pool that these terrorist organizations are drawing from is what needs to be addressed. And I think this is no doubt what is also in government's mind. But people have comments, of course, on on how we're going to achieve this, because it's going to cost something, and then government will come and tell us that we are operating under dire economic circumstances in terms of revenue available and all of that.
It's going to come under scrutiny from people. People may not believe in it because, like I said, it's the same of same. We've
seen something like this.
We've seen something like this.
And
before.
people have a difficulty understanding how it is different from economic recovery and growth program.
I remember when the vice president said they have taken the economic recovery and growth plan back to the laboratory.
Yes, yes.
So they were going to reject it.
This is the product that came out from.
We need to know if this is the product. So, and the product came out with a new name. It's still the same vice president that is going to head the same thing. So we need to know whether it's the rejigging that, because we already have a program. That program, only deficiency that people said was that it didn't take into consideration the greatest resources Nigeria have, which are the people of Nigeria. Yeah. Get the people of Nigeria involved. Educate the people of Nigeria. Let the people of Nigeria have competitive advantage. Those areas that we have competitive advantage, let it be the area that we are focusing on. Let's be a manpower. I keep saying it. You talk of Ghana, you talk cocoa, Ghana. You talk of Côte d'Ivoire, you say cocoa, they say Côte d'Ivoire. You go to America, when you talk of Alaska, they say fishery. You talk of Nigeria, we're agriculture. We want to be the giant of agriculture. Now, which area? Cassava, we are there. Poultry, we are there. Rice, we are there.
What's our specialization?
What's our specialization? As we are specialized in every area because we are trying to feed ourselves first. Survivor. That's where we are. Let's tell ourselves.
But quickly.
I don't want to keep Mr. Afa in Badagry waiting any longer. Good morning, Mr. Afa. Afa, still there?
Yes, Afa, I'm still.
Is it in Bayelsa?
Yes.
Oh, good morning, sir. I'm sorry I imported you to Badagry. Go ahead, please. In Bayelsa.
Yes.
Afa to Bra.
Somebody is saying Tubra.
Tubra.
Emio.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, sir. See, I want to contribute towards this matter. You know, you can see that when federal government brought a particular program, Empower, that Empower that you are seeing, people that have read books from various universities, government collect their quotations, all the things in school, and then employ these people by paying them 30,000 naira. But they cannot even absorb them to the system so that these people can even do well. They only terminate them. Now, federal government is bringing another system to empower people again. So my own point is that let them make this thing happen. People are reading books, going out from schools, graduating from schools, and no employment. Let them go into all those places and employ these people. The database is with them, is with the government. So let them employ them by not bringing another system to come and terminate other people, bringing another system again. So my contribution is that let them make the Empower a reasonable something for the people to be happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alpha. It goes back to what you gentlemen have said, and Yakub and some other people have also said it from home, that it's action we want. Basiri Mowe, action. We need action.
Let me, so that people don't say we criticize without profiling solution. Here, what is the responsibility of government? When this government came on board, they told us government does not have business in business. Government is to provide the enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Mukhtar talked about government in Bangladesh. I refer to India. Why? What with plans like this, you need to take it from the local level. Why you consistently provide security to enable the environment where these businesses will thrive? If I want to farm now, I want to go into cashew farming, and I know that if I buy an hectare of land and the place will be invaded, I will not farm. And at the end of the day, government will tell me they want to alleviate poverty. They share 30,000, 10,000 in some cases. It will not be sustainable. So government needs to ensure, first and foremost, employ the people, use these funds, use it to employ people to provide security.
Yeah.
And then the others that you are not employing in the security sector, you find a way to retrain them, engage the local government level to provide at the local government with the private sector to provide industries.
Wasn't that done to some extent in the Niger Delta area, for instance? What you're talking about, a degree of that was achieved, wasn't it?
The training, there were trainings.
Yes.
But after the training, what happens? Who will absorb those that you have trained?
Okay, I also have on the line, in fact, who do I have on the line right now? Help me out, Master Control. Who do I have on the line? Chidi in Kaduna, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Koyori. It has been a while.
It has, indeed. Welcome back.
Yes, thank you so very much. My greetings to Barrister Oshkoma and the other young man there.
Thank you, Chidi.
And Mr. Mukhtar Mohammed.
Yes, Mukhtar Mohammed. Good morning to you all.
Thank you.
My little contribution this morning, considering what we are going through in Nigeria at the moment, I would wish the government of the day to do all within their arsenal to ensure that there is security, particularly job creation. There is no employment. The economy of the country is in its very low ebb at the moment. And there will be food security, employment security, and several other things that will boost the economy. I want to believe that naturally the level of criminality and insecurity will reduce to its barest minimum. I want to wish Nigerians well. and let us not lose our hope and courage.
Indeed.
Thank you very much, and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much. In fact, it reminds me, what you just said there reminds me of the words of a song, Nigeria Go Survive.
Yeah, Nigeria Go Survive.
You know, it's tough right now. And I think...
Day for West, too. Granite Day for North, too. You know?
Nelly Uchendu?
If
something
you
like that.
do your own, me, I do my own. Nigeria Go Survive.
There you go. Somehow
the government must do their own, too.
Okay.
That is a challenge.
Well,
like he said, you see, I give a scenario. I told somebody, they are telling me to tide my bed. They are telling me to tide my bed. And I'm trying to tide my bed. Some people used to send their children to maybe a private primary school that they used to pay like 20,000. They are tightening their bed. They are looking for the one for 10,000. And then you see a governor convoy with 5 cars that you used to see before. And his child now living that used to school in the private school is going to school abroad.
Okay.
So who is tightening his belt?
So, and that's also part of the equation, that people don't feel we have a fair society.
Yes.
The equity is not what it should be.
No, society is not fair anywhere in the world. But basic necessity should be given to everybody.
Well,
that's the fairness.
That's the fairness.
Because
that will be my definition of fairness in this context.
After the American Revolution, what did they do? They discovered that people want the basics: shelter, housing, clothing, food. And so they fed, if we provide all of this, nobody will look at the much that you have taken in terms of, you know, what you worked for. And so, when Nigerians are agitating, they are looking for the basics. Everybody, sometimes I listen to people who say Nigerian youth don't want to work. But yet you see them excelling in internet fraud and so many other things.
If you there are some of them that I said in internet technology, few tech. You hear about them.
I'm talking about. Yeah.
Let's not bring that's what they take the Nigerian. They think we are fraudulent.
No, I agree with you. There are some in internet technology, they are reckoned with worldwide. But in all of those efforts, individual efforts, we all have capacity individually. How much of it has government been able to aggregate, harness it, and say, okay, you, Mukhtar, we know you have this. We need to attach 5 people to you to train. After the training, we have a program, we have a place that can absorb them.
Gentlemen, what you're saying is that you don't think, rightly or wrongly, that this has been well thought out. That seems to be, what you're saying.
This is not the time to begin to celebrate a program.
Mr. Demuyiwa, thank you very much for holding on. Go ahead, please.
25 and Agenda 2050.
Mr. Demuyiwa.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Carry on, please.
Sir, well, I've been a participant on your show for quite a while now. But I want to say this. When I look at talk shows, it makes me laugh. For 16 good years of PDP rule, we were spending 73% of our yearly budget on overheads. The so-called militaries in power in Agbada, they were giving money to just some sets of airlights. They were turning them into billionaires overnight. Lots and lots of military officers since the days of military were sponsoring their own people into military. People that will not today answer the present president. Even if you call for security, they will not. They would rather divert the people, the funds, into their pockets. I listened to the president's press that he gave a CNN presenter some days back. He said when he came into power, he gave 2.1 billion for statistics and logistics to fight insurgency. Some people sat as if they want to eat lunch or dinner, and they shared the money.
What happened to them?
My brother, sir, there is lots of money in the society. I've been to places. I was fortunate to be in Delta State. I counted 24 sockaway in a PDP chieftain's house. I was in Port Harcourt. I counted 17 sockaway in just one person's mansion. This money are in the society. People are saying the president should employ, should assist farmers, should do this, should do that. Where is the money?
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Demuyiwa, for calling in. We appreciate your contribution.
Please let me punch out this position so that as an entrepreneur, I don't give out 2 billion and then people sat down at the table and shared it, and none of them is accountable to that money because it was meant for something. That's what we call KPIs. When I send a man an errand, I need result and I need reports. If that doesn't happen, what you are telling the next man that you are going to send is that you do not have capacity to hold people accountable. And that's why I didn't start by saying federal government come and share money to people. I said the federal government should look at the local government level. If you look at our constitution, most of the functions of the local government have been taken over by states. The local government in as far as Nigeria is concerned is almost non-existent.
Okay.
And we are leaving it so. But yet this is the government that is closest to the people. And you want to enhance capacity building and alleviate poverty without government at that level engaging with the people directly. You are just going to share the same money, and if you do not have capacity to hold people accountable, the money is going to go into the soccer ways that he's talking about.
Now, you see, you guys have been quite heavy on this thing needs to start from the bottom. It should be a bottom-up approach. And, you know, in terms of the bottom here, we're talking about local governments have a crucial role to play. But we have also, on this program, severally, people have come in and have actually questioned the quality of organization and personnel within the local government, and that can you really do this textbook thing and take all these resources? In fact, it got to
when you make a system useless,
okay,
you will get the kind of people you get at that level. If the local government is attractive, and we know the kind of fund that go there, some people would rather go to local government office instead of becoming senators.
I listened to Mike Igeli in your program said that if you want to see the most corrupt system, is the local government system.
This is part of the worry that
because
people
again,
have.
the local government itself.
So much so that the state government started to try to quote unquote assist them, and that was not acceptable.
I don't want to give
because
it is not even assisting.
I won't give an instant in front of my house where I see a project that's supposed to be a local government project was done by the federal government, was facilitated according to the signpost that was put there by the speaker. You see, we play politics every day. That's supposed to be a local government program. Now, I want to give you an instance. I had a meeting.
Very, very briefly.
I had a meeting because you're talking about capacity now for leadership.
Yes.
I had a meeting in my area with a representative of the people, and he blew my mind with the way he talks, with the kind of ideas he has, with the way he spoke. Then, seated beside him was the councillor,
yes,
and the local government,
yes,
and what came out from their mouth, I was like, there's no convergence.
Quickly, sorry, so that I will just aggregate this.
Because very, very brief. In fact,
if you
I
make,
have just about a minute
like
left.
I have said, if you make a system unattractive, if you make it a garbage in, garbage out system, it will not attract your best hands. Take TVC, for example. For this program, as fantastic and beautiful as this program is, because of the anchor, if you relegate the program,
which one will they talk?
No, this one. I'm giving you an example.
Okay.
If you now bring in an anchor that knows next to nothing, people will run away from watching the program. So at the end of the day, people will say, because you want to make it irrelevant, people will say, oh, look, people that are handling those things, they don't have capacity, so don't look at them. The first thing you need to do is to make it attractive, and then you will see, you will have people with capacity there. My father was a chief inspector of education, and I know at that time, when a chief inspector of education was coming to school to inspect, I know what the teachers do. But do we still have them at the local government level?
Well, I think that's a function of the values that we're grappling with right now. So in conclusion, gentlemen, I know we could go on for hours on this, but I think the point that has come out is that we don't know enough about this NPRGS, National Poverty, what is it? National Poverty
Alleviation.
Reduction
with growth
and growth strategy. We don't know enough about it.
It's the same thing, Okoyori.
With
economic recovery growth plan. The only way they put strategy there. Okay. Remember they went to rejig it. So this is the rejigging we are getting.
It's a strategy.
We're going to wait on hearing more from this. Perhaps we'll then understand it better. But I want to thank you very much for the perspective you've put on it. Mukhtar Mohammed, stockbroker and financial analyst.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Libros Oshoma, lawyer and social commentator. Thank you. Thank you,
Always
gentlemen. And also thank you at home for the contributions that you made to the program. Join us tomorrow, please, for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.